I took Nia on our first official date, though I pretended it wasn't a big deal. I kept telling myself it was just two people hanging out, but my palms were sweating like I was a fresh recruit in front of the elders. I chose a quiet cafe near the outskirts of Umoja, simple and hidden, far enough from places where patrols from my kingdom might pass by. I didn't need any Mulinzi showing up and bowing in front of me while I was trying to act normal. Then Nia arrived. Yellow dress, bright smile, and just like that my brain forgot how to function. My hyena instincts practically wagged their tail, and I had to remind myself not to lean in and sniff the air around her like a fool. I kept breathing slowly, counting in my head, hoping she couldn't see how shaken I was. We ate samosas and talked about anything and everything. Or rather, she talked, and I nodded like a mesmerized idiot because my heartbeat was louder than my thoughts. Every time she laughed, that strange fated pull tugged at my chest again, the one I wasn't supposed to feel for a human. Then the wind shifted. I froze. Beneath the smell of spices and frying oil, a foul scent slithered in. Rotten fur, blood, bone claw, my enemies, my kingdom's oldest threat, and now following me. I didn't turn my head. I just scanned the edges of the cafe with my senses. A spy, watching, testing me, testing how far the Mukoma's son would go to protect a human girl. My hyena surged up so fast I almost lost grip. My muscles trembled, my vision flickered, and I felt my eyes burn with that golden glow I couldn't hide once it started. Claws ached to break free. My jaw tightened until my teeth felt like they shift. Then Nia reached out and touched my hand. Her fingers were warm, soft, grounding. "Baraka, are you okay? You look like you're fighting something." For a moment, I truly was. My beast wanted out to chase the bone claw spy, to tear shadows apart to protect her. I forced myself to swallow, to breathe, to drag the hyena back into silence. I tried to laugh, but it came out shaky. "Maybe the tea was too strong," I said, sounding like a terrible liar. She didn't press. Instead, she gave my hand a small squeeze, gentle, but strong enough to keep me anchored. "You don't have to tell me everything," she said softly, "but I want you to know I'm here. Whatever it is, I'm not going anywhere." Those words hit harder than any elder's warning. Behind us, I caught the bone claw spy slipping deeper into the shadows, probably racing off to report that the future Mukoma was breaking every ancient rule, falling for a human. Let them talk. Right now, all I cared about was Nia's hand holding mine, and the truth I knew I would soon have to tell her. I was just getting used to the idea of having a double life that didn't immediately collapse on my head when everything went wrong in one night. I had dropped Nia home after our date, still feeling that warm, dangerous glow she left in my chest. I told myself I'd head back to the kingdom for a quick check-in with the elders, maybe pretend I was taking my royal duties seriously for once, but something tugged at me, a gut feeling, the kind my hyena never ignored. So I circled back toward her neighborhood, keeping to the shadows, pretending I was just being cautious. The truth was simpler. I just wanted to know she was safe. That's when I smelled it. Rotten fur again, bone claw. Before I could even think, I heard Nia scream. I sprinted, tearing through fences, leaping over walls, following her scent like a wildfire. And then I saw her cornered near her gate, a rogue crouched low, fangs out, eyes glowing with that feral madness Bone Claw was known for. He lunged. I didn't have time to think, hide, or calculate consequences. Instinct took over. I jumped. Midair, the shift slammed into me like a storm. Bones stretching, muscles exploding, fur tearing through skin. My vision sharpened, my senses roared awake, and I landed not as Baraka the Boda rider, but as Baraka, heir to the hyena kingdom, massive, fanged, and furious. I hit the rogue so hard he tumbled across the yard like a discarded tire. He snarled and tried to scramble up, but one warning growl from me made him freeze. Then he turned tail and fled, disappearing into the darkness with yelps of fear. When the danger was gone, the world went quiet. Too quiet. I turned slowly. Nia stood there, hands trembling, chest rising and falling fast, staring at me, at all of me, my full hyena form, the glowing eyes, the dark mane, the claws still wet with the rogue's scent. I braced myself for the screaming, the running, the fainting, something dramatic, anything. But she didn't move. Instead, she took one small, careful step toward me. Baraka, her voice shook, but she held steady. "It's you, isn't it?" I expected my beast to retreat, but instead he leaned toward her, drawn by her calm, her scent, her ridiculous bravery. I forced myself back into my human form, slowly, painfully, not wanting her to be overwhelmed. Moments later, I was kneeling in front of her, shirt torn, breath heavy. "I'm sorry," I said, voice rough. "I never wanted you to see me like that." She crouched down too, her hand hovering for a moment before resting gently on my cheek. "You saved my life," she whispered. "Whatever you are, thank you." And just like that, all the fear I had carried for days melted into something warm and terrifyingly hopeful. She didn't run. She stayed. She chose to stay. I didn't expect the next part to be easy. Honestly, I thought I'd spend the whole night begging Nia not to faint, scream, or call the police on me. But once she helped me sit up and guided me inside her gate, she waited, calm, curious, like I'd just told her I had an extra job, not an extra form. I took a long breath. "Nia, there's something you deserve to know, everything." She nodded slowly. "Okay, I'm listening." Listening, as if the words I was about to say were normal. "I'm not just what you saw," I began. "I'm part of a kingdom, a real one, hidden under Nairobi National Park and the surrounding forests, the Hyena Kingdom." Her eyebrows lifted, but she didn't flinch. "My father is the Mukoma," I continued, "a king, and I'm supposed to take over one day. That rogue who attacked you, he was from the Bone Claw clan. They hate my family, they hate our people, and now they're hunting me because I've been spending time with you." She blinked once, twice, then crossed her arms. "So you're a prince?" "Well, yes." "And a Boda rider?" "Yes." "And a Werehyena?" "Yes." Silence. I braced myself for the meltdown. Instead, Nia let out a long sigh, shook her head and said, "Baraka, why do you say it like it's three different people? It's all just you." I stared at her, actually confused. "You're not scared?" "Of the giant hyena that saved me? No." "You're not shocked?" She shrugged. "I mean, I'm shocked, but panicking won't help. And besides," she paused, her cheeks warming slightly, "I still like you." For a moment, I swear my heart forgot how to beat. "You what?" "You heard me," she nudged my shoulder gently. "Even with the claws, and the glowing eyes, and the royal responsibilities, and the way you pretend you don't know you're attractive." My hyena inside me practically somersaulted. I rubbed the back of my neck, trying not to grin like an idiot. "I thought you'd run." She took a small step closer, looking up at me with calm certainty. "If you want to tell me more, I'll listen. If staying close to you puts me in danger, we'll face it together. Just don't shut me out, Baraka." I didn't know what fate had planned for us, but in that moment, I knew one thing for sure. Nia accepted me, not in spite of what I was, but including it. And that was more powerful than any royal title I carried. I should have known the elders wouldn't sit quietly after everything that happened. Boneclaw attacking a human, me shifting in front of her. That kind of drama spreads through the kingdom faster than gossip in a beauty salon. By morning, every Mulinzi and council elder probably knew I had broken half the ancient rules and cracked the other half. So when 2 royal guards showed up at my door at dawn, bowing stiffly and saying the elders requested the presence of the human girl, I knew things were about to explode. I rushed to Nia's place, ready to beg her not to come, but she was already waiting outside her gate with crossed arms, a backpack, and a look that said, "Let them try me." "Nia, you don't have to." "I'm going," she said, zipping up her bag. "Someone has to make sure you don't get yourself banished." Honestly, I had never been more terrified or proud. We took the hidden path into the kingdom, down through old caves, warm tunnels lined with bioluminescent stones, and into the vast underground city carved beneath Nairobi. My people watched from every corner as we passed, whispering, sniffing, staring at Nia like she was a rare animal that somehow wandered into the wrong zoo. She didn't flinch. In fact, she walked like she was touring Uhuru Park on a Sunday afternoon. When we finally reached the great den, the council hall where the elders waited, the atmosphere was thick enough to chew. 12 elders sat in a semicircle, dressed in ceremonial cloaks, eyes glowing faintly with their hyena nature. My father, the Mukoma, sat at the center, expression unreadable. Nia stepped beside me, chin high, hands steady. One of the elder mamas leaned forward. "Human girl, do you understand who stands beside you? Do you understand the danger you bring by being here?" Nia nodded politely. "Yes, I do." Another elder frowned at her. "And yet you walk into our kingdom without fear." She shrugged. "Fear won't change anything, and Baraka saved my life. If I'm here, it's because your enemies attacked me first." I swear some of the elders almost choked. The Mukoma's eyes narrowed, not angrily but thoughtfully. You show loyalty to him, he said, even after seeing what he truly is. I didn't fall for the Boda rider, she replied calmly. I fell for the man, the rest I can handle. The room went silent. My hyena puffed up with pride. So did the human part of me, which honestly didn't know whether to cheer or hide. Juma, who had been standing behind me like a strict Mulinzi ready to body slam anyone who looked at Nia the wrong way, whispered, Bro, I think she just impressed your father. He wasn't wrong. The Mukoma nodded slowly. Your bravery is unusual for a human, and your loyalty unexpected. We will watch you closely, but for now you have earned a cautious respect. Nia bowed her head respectfully, then nudged me with her elbow and whispered, Was that good? Good. She just walked into the hyena kingdom, faced the council, defended me, and left them speechless. I whispered back, Nia, they kind of like you. She grinned, then I'm doing something right. And with that, the kingdom that had always felt like a cage suddenly felt a little more like home. The ultimatum arrived in the most bone-claw way possible, dramatic, violent, and absolutely disrespectful. I was in the training cavern with Juma, pretending to practice but mostly thinking about Nia, when a loud crack echoed through the entire kingdom. A messenger hyena stumbled in, bleeding, barely able to shift back, and holding a piece of dark bone carved into the shape of a claw. Every elder's face dropped. A bone claw challenge token. The Mukoma took it with a heavy sigh, then read the message carved into its back. His jaw tightened, his eyes glowed, and when he looked at me, I knew it was bad. Baraka, he said quietly, the bone claw leader has given you a choice. I felt my stomach twist. What kind of choice? The Mukoma's voice was grim. Abandon the human girl, reject your claim to the throne, leave the kingdom, or they will launch a full assault and burn everything we protect. Juma muttered something very un-Mulinzi-like under his breath. I didn't blame him. My own blood went cold. So essentially, I said slowly, they want me to lose everything. They want you weak, one elder growled. They want you alone. I walked out before anyone could say anything else. My thoughts were too loud, too sharp. I ended up outside the cavern, leaning against one of the glowing stone walls, trying not to let panic choke me. I didn't hear Nia approach until her hand touched my arm. Tell me, she said softly. I told her everything, the ultimatum, the threat, the choice I was supposed to make, love or kingdom, her or my people, my heart or my duty. When I finished, I expected tears, or anger, or that polite, devastating human sentence, maybe we should take a break. Instead, she stood in front of me, fire in her eyes. So you're telling me, she said, that your enemies think you can't be a good leader and love someone at the same time. That's the summary, I admitted. She stepped closer. Baraka, that's exactly why you should lead. I blinked. You're encouraging me to pick the throne. I'm encouraging you to pick both, she said firmly. Your people need a leader who understands strength and compassion, and I'm not going anywhere just because some bone-waving bully said so. My chest tightened so suddenly it hurt. You realize this puts you in danger, I whispered. She lifted her chin. Danger found me already. I'd rather face it standing beside you than hiding alone. I swear in that moment, I saw the entire kingdom differently. Not as a weight on my shoulders, but as something I wanted to protect, not just for my ancestors, but for the future I wanted with her. Juma eventually found us and cleared his throat loudly. Mukoma's son, he said, the council is waiting, they need your answer. I looked at Nia. She nodded, calm and full of a courage I had never known existed. And that's when I realized something. The Bone Claw clans thought they were threatening me. But actually, they just pushed me toward the kind of leader, and the kind of man, I was meant to become. The Bone Claw clan didn't wait long after issuing their ultimatum. They wanted war, and they wanted it loud. By the following night, the warning drums echoed through the tunnels of our kingdom, shaking dust from the ceilings and sending every warrior into formation. I stood in the center of the great den as warriors shifted and armed themselves. Juma was checking weapons, growling at anyone who looked even slightly unprepared. My father gave me a nod that meant everything and nothing at the same time. And Nia was packing beside me with that thinking face she always got right before she said something brilliantly dangerous. Your enemies fight openly, she said, staring at the map spread before us. They're arrogant, so use that. I raised an eyebrow. You want me to use bone claw arrogance as a weapon? Yes, she said, pointing at one tunnel on the map. This one, it's narrow. Only a few can pass at a time. If you station your best warriors here, they'll bottleneck. Juma leaned in, eyes widening. She's right, they'll be forced into single combat. And you, Nia said, tapping another tunnel behind the main cavern, can circle around with Juma and surprise their leader. End the fight fast. My father looked at her with real respect. Human girl, your mind is sharp. She's called Nia, I said before she could respond. We moved fast after that. By the time Boneclaw charged through the tunnels, snarling and slamming into our defenses, the kingdom was ready. The battle erupted in a storm of claws, dust, roars, and bodies shifting mid-leap. Warriors slammed into each other with enough force to crack stone. I led a strike team with Juma right beside me, both of us in full Werehyena form. My senses were blazing, scents sharp, sounds loud, instincts roaring. We darted through the smaller tunnels until we found the leader of the Boneclaw clan. Massive, scarred, eyes glowing red with feral rage. He spotted me and let out a thunderous growl that rattled the stones. Prince Baraka, he snarled, I warned you. I snarled back and I ignored you. We crashed into each other with enough force to send cracks through the floor. Claws met claws, teeth met bone. I felt his strength immediately, raw, brutal, wild, but mine wasn't just powerful, it was focused. Juma tackled one of the leader's guards, slamming him into a wall. Warriors behind us fought like a storm, pushing Boneclaw back inch by inch. The leader lunged again, jaws wide, but I dodged and slammed into his ribs. He stumbled. I struck again, and then for a moment I saw Nia's face in my mind, calm, steady, believing in me. That was all I needed. I pinned the Boneclaw leader to the ground, claws at his throat. This kingdom stands, I growled, voice echoing through the cavern, and so do I. He tried to rise, but Juma landed beside me and growled deep. Stay down if you value what's left of your bones. The Boneclaw warriors hesitated. Then, seeing their leader beaten, they retreated. One by one, they limped back into the tunnels and disappeared into the darkness. Silence filled the cavern. Then cheers rose, echoing off every stone wall. When I shifted back, covered in dust and bruises, Nia rushed toward me. Before I could say a word, she threw her arms around my neck. You did it, she whispered. No, I said, holding her tightly. We did. Juma clapped a hand on my back hard enough to make me choke. Mukoma, he said proudly, you fought like a true king. And for the first time, I believed him. After the battle, the kingdom felt different. Not just safer, lighter. The tunnels that had been echoing with roars and war cries now hummed with relief, laughter, and the shaky kind of joy that comes after you survive something bigger than yourself. Warriors limped around with pride, elders whispered prayers of gratitude, and everywhere I walked I felt eyes on me. Not the suspicious kind from before. Respect, acceptance, hope. But the real moment, the one that hit me right in the chest, happened in the great den. The elders gathered, still in their ceremonial cloaks, still smelling faintly of healing herbs and battle dust. My father stood at the center, quiet and serious, though I could see the pride leaking through his eyes no matter how hard he tried to hide it. Nia stood beside me, hands clasped behind her back, trying to look calm, but I could feel her pulse racing just from the way her breath shifted. Still, she didn't step back, she didn't bow her head, she just stood there like she belonged. The oldest elder stepped forward. Human girl, he said, voice echoing, you have shown bravery that even our warriors admire. Nia swallowed but kept her chin up. I did what anyone would do. Not anyone, the elder corrected, only those who carry loyalty in their blood. Another elder nodded. You walked into our kingdom without fear. You helped save it without hesitation. For this, we accept you among us. I saw Nia blink fast, trying not to look emotional. I could feel my own chest expand with relief. For the first time, the tension that always wrapped around us inside the kingdom finally loosened. Then my father turned to me. Baraka, he said, you fought with courage, protected your people, and chose leadership without abandoning your heart. It is time. I froze. Time for what? Juma muttered, bro, don't act surprised. We've all been waiting for this. The elders surrounded me in a circle. My father placed his hand on my shoulder, heavy and warm. From this day, he said, you take my place as Mukoma of the Hyena Kingdom." The words vibrated inside me. My beast lifted his head proudly, the warriors lowered theirs. And Nia, she stared at me like she was seeing me for the first time, and somehow also like she'd known all along. Juma stepped forward next, grinning so hard it almost cracked his face. "And with the council's blessing," the Mukoma continued, "Juma, son of Kurui, will serve as your official Mulinzi." Juma puffed out his chest, saluted dramatically, then whispered to me, "You can't get rid of me now, Mukoma." I elbowed him, but I couldn't stop smiling. Then the elders turned to Nia. "And you," said the elder Mama, "though not one of us by blood, have proven your heart stronger than fear. Thus, you are given the title of Malkia of the Kingdom, protector of the prince's heart." Nia's eyes widened. "Wait, what? That's an official title?" The elder nodded, a title earned, not given lightly. I took Nia's hand, lifting it gently. "It means," I whispered, "you're recognized, respected, part of this kingdom now." Her fingers tightened around mine, her voice soft but sure. "Then I'll protect that title just as fiercely as you protected me." The elders smiled, the kingdom cheered. And for the first time in my life, standing there with Juma beside me and Nia's hand in mine, I didn't feel torn between two worlds. I felt like I finally belonged to both. The drums echoed through the caverns as I walked toward the ancient throne, each thundering beat reminding me of the weight I was about to carry. Torches lined the stone walls, their golden flames flickering over the symbols of kings before me. But my eyes kept returning to her, Nia, standing just a step behind me, steady, calm, and radiant with the strength that had carried us both to this moment. She had faced the elders without fear. She had fought beside me without hesitation. She had defended this kingdom even before it was hers. And now, as I stood ready to take the crown, knowing she was beside me made everything feel right. When I knelt before the elders, the cavern fell into a deep, respectful silence. I felt the cool weight of the crown settle onto my head, woven with silver stone and the faint pulse of our ancient magic. A rush of responsibility washed through me. A new chapter had begun. I stood again, taller and stronger than I ever felt in my life, and I didn't wait for permission. I reached for Nia's hand, lifting it openly for everyone to see. I heard the soft gasp ripple through the crowd, but I didn't care. "I will lead with strength," I declared, my voice steady. Then I turned to her, letting the truth shine through my words, and with heart together. Her eyes softened, and she pressed my hand gently. "I will stand by you all my days." Those words hit me harder than any oath or blessing. In that single moment, I knew that whatever future awaited us, I would never walk it alone. The kingdom erupted in celebration. Drums quickened, dancers spun across the stone floors, and the elders raised their staffs, sending light spiraling through the cavern like new stars being born. Juma stood proudly at my side, my loyal Mulinzi at last, grinning like he had carried the crown himself. Even the purple-eyed hyenas bowed their heads as Nia and I stepped forward together. Their respect was not easily earned, yet here it was, clear, honest, and powerful. This was more than a coronation, it was a promise. A promise to my people. A promise to my kingdom. A promise to the woman who had changed everything for me. As we stood before our cheering people, hand in hand, the light around us glowed like the beginning of a new dawn. I felt hope, real, steady hope, settle in my chest. Our story now belonged to the kingdom. And the kingdom's future would be shaped by our love, our loyalty, and the bond that had brought us here. That night, as the celebrations roared on, I knew one truth with absolute certainty. With Nia by my side, I was ready to lead. Ready to build a future. Ready to face every sunrise and every shadow.
I used to think that being Mukoma meant standing at the front lines, claws out, heart racing, fighting until the enemy backed down. War was loud, honest, straightforward. You knew who wanted you dead, you knew where to strike back. Ruling, I learned very quickly, was nothing like that. These borders were agreed upon generations ago. We bowed to your decision, Mukoma, but this decision will cost us trade. By the third day on the throne, my head hurt in a way no battle had ever managed. Elders argued in circles, noble clans bowed in public and complained in private. Every decision upset someone who smiled while promising loyalty. I missed the simplicity of fists and fangs. These tunnels predate your reign, Mukoma. And our rights predate his father's. The dispute sounded small until I realized how much power they carried. One wrong word from me could plant resentment that would last decades. We will take a short recess. You look like you'd rather fight another Bone Claw army. I almost would. It was easier out there, wasn't it? It was. Out there, I knew what to do. Out there, you fought enemies. In here, you fight expectations. When the hall finally emptied, I stayed behind. The throne felt heavier than stone. I thought of my father, how calm he always seemed, how steady. Strength alone never held this kingdom together. Patience did. Listening did. Choosing the least damaging option did.
They all want something from you.
I know, and I can't give everyone what they want.
Then don't. Give them what the kingdom needs.
I felt the tension in my chest loosen. Fighting taught me how to survive. Loving her was teaching me how to lead.